Hi, welcome to today's edition of the Counter Press. It's the transfer window edition. There's a lot of juice, a lot of stuff for us to unpack here on the Counter Press on YouTube. My name again still remains Fiifi-Manfred. Thank you very much for joining us, and it's been a while. Love to see you. So today is the conversation of transfers, and I'm going to give you updates every Wednesday from now henceforth with respect to updates. So this is the transfer updates one, and we're starting with Chelsea. So are Saudi Arabia really funding Chelsea Football Club, or what people are saying outside is just people just hating on Chelsea Football Club? And I'll start it like this. In the past week, two football English legends, Gary Neville, and then of course Jamie Carragher, have taken to social media to sort of drum home the fact that people need to look into exactly what Saudi Arabia are doing at Chelsea Football Club, and then make sure they put in some form of regulation. So let's start it like this with some form of education. Saudi Arabia, of course, do have one of the biggest oil reserves in the world. They have, in terms of untapped oil, 18% of the world's oil. Saudi Arabia's economy is largely dependent on their oil. In fact, their oil's inception began in the 70s, about 1970. That is where Saudi Arabia realized and began to drill oil in commercial quantities. Saudi Arabia, throughout this time, like every other oil-rich nation, like every other Gulf nation, have felt that for them to be able to have a sustainable and much more diversified economy, they need to reinvest the monies or the proceeds from the oil fields into something else. It can be tourism, it can be sports, it can be art, it can be science, it can be technology, or what have you. So, in recent times, Saudi Arabia have launched the Operation 2030. And in 2030, they want to use sports as a mean for tourism, for people to come into their country. Why is this so? The issue is that at Saudi Arabia, one of the biggest issues that goes on in there is that they know that because the economy is largely dependent on oil, now, because oil prices also tend to be fluctuating at every point in time. You remember, in 2014, oil prices were fluctuating, and it began to fluctuate based on the market prices. Now, Saudi Arabia don't want to have an economy that is hinged on fluctuating market prices, especially after COVID, especially during the Russia-Ukraine war. They have been hit by it. So it is time, since 2016, where the then Deputy Crown Prince MBS Mohammed bin Salem really did understand and led a charge to make people get the fact that they need to diversify and re-diversify the Saudi economy. And it is in this regard that the Public Investment Fund that has been there since 1970 did come up. According to Saudi Arabia, there was the need to take the Public Investment Fund, reinvest and invest in sports, tourism, and other aspects of their world, just so the economy can be diversified. And it's the reason why 4 clubs in Saudi Arabia, Al Ittihad, Al Nasser, Al Qadri, and other clubs have been bought by the state to manage and to invest money in. Mind you, the focus of this is that 2 of the clubs are in Jeddah, the other 2 is in Riyadh. Jeddah and Riyadh are the 2 biggest cities of Saudi Arabia. So the plan is, whilst we are developing the clubs, we are inviting tourists into our country. We are inviting people to come and see our country. Do not forget, the Saudi did the same in MMA during COVID, where MMA had issues in hosting. They gave them a place to kick up, to go ahead with their sports and programs, and they've done same for sport, for golf as well in recent times. So if you look at the fact that when Chelsea and Clear Lake were going to buy Chelsea Football Club, there were questions that were asked of Chelsea if there were issues of if there was some Saudi interest in Chelsea Football Club. They gave them written proof to show that there was nothing like Saudi Arabia in everything that they were doing. But in fact, it is true that Todd Boehly and the Clear Lake Consortium have dealt with the PIF before. It is true also that Todd Boehly and then the Clear Lake Consortium have had business dealings with Saudi Arabia before, and it is in these dealings that they brought up luxurious hotels all across the world. And it is also true that the Clear Lake Consortium, which is a public, which is also an investment chest, is a place where the PIF also does some of the investment, and is an equity industry, an equity company where the Saudi Public Investment Fund does some form of investment. So there's nothing really untold. I really do think that Todd Boehly and his entourage have been very smart. Smart in the sense that they realize that the Saudis needed players. Why they don't need these foreign players? They know that if a player is coming from England, most of these players who play in Europe have their families in there. Now, there's going to be a transactionary bit where a lot of foreign investments indirectly are going to come through these players to come to the country. The players are going to travel with these monies. The monies are going to come to Saudi Arabia. They're going to go to Jeddah. People are going to feel like they need to go to Jeddah or Riyadh because Cristiano Ronaldo is there, because Messi is an ambassador, because Khalidou Koulibaly is coming, because Karim Mustafa Benzema is coming, because N'Golo Conte is going to be there as well as Al Hilal. So it is the fact that they see an opportunity and they want to be there. And that is why for Chelsea Football Club, 3 of their member Muslims, the MENA Muslims who are there, they've struck a deal with a Saudi class. First of all, is Khalid Koulibaly, the Senegalese international, who is rumored to be going to Saudi Arabia for a little over 20 million, which is good money. Yes, Chelsea are running at a loss, but it's about what Chelsea are getting of their wage bill. That's the most important one. There is also Edouard Mendy, who is also going to leave Chelsea to go to Saudi Arabia. Then the Ziyech deal is also on the table pending, and that's also going to happen. There's a here we go, and Chelsea are going to get all of these money. It's important that Chelsea got this thing done because they needed money. And the bigger part of the conversation is that you cannot say that there's a conspiracy theory and Saudi are funding Chelsea Football Club because of these things, just because of that. And these are the reasons. First of all, Romelu Lukaku has decided not to go to Saudi Arabia. If that was the case, maybe he would have been forced to go to Saudi Arabia himself. Mind you, Chelsea's rumored transfer earnings, the biggest one has come from the English Premier League, is going to be from Arsenal. Manchester United are also playing a whopping 55 million or more for Mason Mount. So how are Saudi Arabia funding Chelsea Football Club when really the biggest monies are coming from Arsenal and Manchester United? So it's not like that. It is just because Todd Boehly found a loophole, he found an opportunity, and he pounced on it, and he's getting the job done at Chelsea Football Club. So it's as simple as that. Chelsea are getting the job done, and in getting the job done, what they need to do, first of all, is to get money, get cash inflow, balance their books, take off some huge monies of their wage bill, and then focus on making sure that they go into the transfer market hard and strong. So there's nothing really untoward when it comes to that. Chelsea are not being funded by the Saudi Arabians. So guys, thank you very much. I'm sure this was an extensive education to where Saudi Arabia have been, what they want to do, why they are doing the things that they are doing, and they are serious. They really want to make this sustainable and then get people into their country. So thank you for choosing the Counter Press. My name again is Fiifi-Manfred. I'll see you.